Today, we are going to unpack one of the most powerful, and let's be honest, one of the most challenging lines in all of prayer: Thy will be done. It's something millions of us say every single day, but what does it actually mean to live it? Well, let's dive in and find out. And this quote right here, it just nails the central tension, doesn't it? We say the words, your will be done, but our actions, our goals, our anxieties, so often they show we're still hustling and fighting for our own plan. It's a contradiction that, if we're being real, a lot of us feel deep down. So this brings us right to the heart of the matter. There's this huge gap between saying the prayer and actually living the prayer. We want God's will, but we also really want what we want. And that's the struggle. So how do we close that gap? The key is to completely shift how we see this phrase. This isn't just a passive wish or some line we're supposed to recite from memory. No, it's a choice. It's a posture. It's an active pattern that we have to intentionally weave into our lives, day in and day out. Okay, so that leads to the big question, right? If we actually decide to live this out, to really embrace it, what does surrender even look like in the real world? Let's get super practical. When the rubber meets the road, what does it mean for God's will to be done in your job, in your family, with your money? What does it actually feel like to let go? And here's the brutally honest truth. Surrender is almost never the easy path. It's usually not the one that lines up with what we want in the moment. In fact, it often looks like doing the one thing we've been fighting against. The real test is when you choose love and obedience, especially when you really don't want to. You see, it's a combination of all these things. We're talking about a total surrender of our own agenda. We're talking about radical obedience, not just on the big stuff, but in the small, everyday things. It's about living a life that shows a love for God so deep that you genuinely trust that His plan isn't just good, it's better than anything you could come up with on your own. Now, to really get this, really get it, we need to look at the ultimate example of this whole principle in action. It's what we can call the nevertheless moment. So picture this. Jesus is in the Garden of Gethsemane, and he is in absolute anguish. He is so human in this moment, and he asks God if there's any other way out of this, literally pleading, "Let this cup pass from me." He is voicing his own will, his own very human desire to avoid the unbelievable pain that's coming. And then this happens. This one word, nevertheless. This is the pivot. This is the exact moment where personal desire bows to a divine plan. It's recognizing that despite what I want, what you will is what matters most. That right there is the absolute heart of surrender. And that's the challenge for every single one of us, isn't it? We can make our plans, we can voice our desires, but the real spiritual transformation happens when we can get to our own nevertheless. And not just say it, but truly be okay with it, trusting that whatever comes next is part of a much bigger purpose. But why? Why is this surrender so crucial? Well, it's not just about giving something up. It's actually about unlocking something that already exists. It's the key that lets you access a plan that's already been written for your life. And this is where it gets really fascinating. There's this incredible, deeper meaning that's kind of hidden in plain sight, right in the prayer's original Greek language. When we look at the exact words that were used, this whole new profound idea just opens up. Okay, check this out. The Greek word used for in, when it says in earth, means superimposition, like to place or lay one thing on top of another. But the Greek word for in, when it says in heaven, means a fixed position, something that is already set, already done, already established. It's not the same word. Isn't that wild? So what does this all mean? Well, this is the big aha moment. We aren't praying for God to create His will on earth. We're praying for what is already finished and fixed in heaven to be laid over or superimposed onto our lives right here on earth. We're not fighting for a victory. We're trying to align with a victory that's already been won. Just think about the implications of this. Things like your true purpose, a deep and lasting peace, your ultimate destiny, a profound joy, even your healing. These aren't things you have to fight and strive to create out of thin air. According to this, they're already fixed realities in heaven, just waiting for your surrender to superimpose them onto your life. So let's bring this all home. Understanding the why behind all this is one thing, but living it out, that's a whole other story. The journey of surrender is a huge sacrifice, but it is always, always a worthwhile one.
And let's be real for a second. Letting go of our own will, of a dream we have been clinging to with everything we have, it can be deeply painful. It can be one of those ugly cry moments. And that's the perfect way to describe it. That raw, honest, complete moment of finally letting go.
And that journey, it usually follows a pattern. First, you have to be honest and acknowledge what it is you truly want. Then you have to face that painful moment of release, the ugly cry. From there, you surrender it all, not just the parts you're comfortable with. And it's only after that total surrender that your hands are finally open to receive what God has for you, which is always better. At the end of the day, this is the testimony you'll hear from anyone who has truly walked this path. The process is tough. The sacrifice feels enormous at the time. But the peace, the purpose, and the closeness to God's plan that you find on the other side, it makes it all so incredibly worth it. So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this question to really think about. Based on everything we've unpacked, what purpose, what peace, what destiny is already established in waiting in a fixed position for you in heaven, just waiting on your nevertheless, your moment of surrender to be laid over your life?